guys, Di here from Di's Den, and welcome to another Sunday video. Wow, we're already in April. Where has the time gone? It's really zooming past. So this week I'd like to show you how I made this card. It's called a double pop-up front card. So it will lay flat like this to go into an envelope, and it's a really great card. It stands up nicely and it opens on the side. So it's a landscape card, not a portrait. I did this one with an online exclusive products. This is a whole suite, and it's called Latte Love, I think it's called. Oh my goodness, I've lost the plot now. So this circle here around the outside is from the, now I can't remember, Simply, I don't know, something shapes, I can't remember. So, but I just wanted a saucer under my cup, which I cut out of the paper. This has got some beautiful paper, as you can see, and these lovely cups were mugs are actually in the set. I didn't bring the set over to show you, but oh, it's a lovely set and I love it. And I've used it, I don't know, about 3 or 4 times already. It has these lovely dots that have got swirls on them that looks like coffee, and they come in dark ones, medium colour, and a very light colour, so you can have like a chocolate or something. So that's my card for today. It's called a double pop-up front card, but this time I'm actually going to do it, let me pop that card out of the way, in another online exclusive product, which is called Simply Sparkling. So I don't know that I've used this one with you yet. I don't think I have, but I thought I would do it. But my DSP was from the celebration, and I still had some left, and I wanted to use some of it up. So I've decided to do it with this set, and the DSP has retired. So please don't look for the DSP, because that was a celebration item. So we're going to be using the can, and I think this is a peach. I'm using it as a peach. So I'm using that as a peach, and then I'm going to be using Simply Sparkling, Best Ever, and Extra Bubbly. So I'll show you what we need for this card. Let me pop that one out of the way. I'm going to do this in Misty Moonlight and I can't remember. It's the other blue. It's an in colour. I will put it in the comments below. Okay, so there's a lot of bits and pieces to this card, but it's not hard. So let me start. Alright, so we need a card base, and this is going to measure 4 1/8 by 11 3/4. And don't worry, if you don't want to write down all the measurements, that's fine. If you head over to Di's Den for stamping, crafting and tutorials, there you will actually find all of the, you'll find a written tutorial for this project with all the measurements on it. Okay, for my front layer 1, you're going to need a piece that measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and another piece that measures 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. Now, because of this is in landscape, you do need to be careful which way you cut your paper if you have directional paper. Okay, so for my next layer, I'm calling this front layer A. This, you will need a piece of card that measures 3 7/8 by, oh, hang on, no I don't. I need a piece of card that measures 4 1/2 by 4 1/8. And then the layers will be 3 7/8 by 1 3/4 and 3 5/8 by 1 1/2. Now I've cut out my can here and the peaches. So let's pop them on one side. Now for front layer B, you will need a piece of card that measures 5 1/4 by 3 1/8. And you're going to need, for your layers, you're going to need a piece that measures 3 3/4 by 2 7/8, and the other piece, and all of these pieces, make sure that you get your direction in the correct orientation. And this piece is 3 1/2 by 2 5/8. Now all mine are in the orientation of a landscape, and with this piece in the middle, this smaller piece, it's portrait, but my direction is all the same way. For my insert, I need a piece that measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and my white piece for my stamping on. And make sure you stamp this way, because when I did my first one, I actually stamped it that way, and I went, oh darn, that's not the right way. So I had to redo my inside in this card here. So I stamped it like I would normally stamp it this way, and it went, oh no, that's not right. That's okay. But I mean, I guess if you wanted to have your card so that it stood that way with the pop-up on the front, you could do that too. But it'd be a little bit different, but there's nothing to say it's not right. But this one is going to be done in landscape. So this is 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. For my tag on the front, I've already flagged this using this Pick-a-Punch banners, which I believe is retiring at the end of the annual catalogue. So, and this measures, after it's been cut, just over 2 inches long. So it's about 2 1/2 inches by 1 inch before you start cutting your flag ends. Then I've cut out my drink can, because this set actually comes with the dies for cutting out the drink can. Also comes with the piece here that does the top, the bottom and the pull tag, which I've cut out, which goes over the top here, the bottom, and then my little pull tag. Isn't that so cute? Isn't that so cute? Well, we will glue that onto there. I've also done my label for the front of my card here, and I've done my peaches as well. So I did them in that colour because it will match the paper. So I'm hoping that it all comes together nicely, because this is just in my head with this paper and everything. So let me move all of this out of the way. Oops, that one and that one. And start with our first one. Our main card, which is our 11 3/4 by 4 1/8. And we're going to score this on the long side with our small ball end at 5 7/8 of an inch. Now, I don't know if you know, but when you pull this over, sometimes they don't always line up. So for me, a great thing to do is actually put them together like that. Push it up against this edge here, and with your bone folder, just bring it down so that it is level on all 3 sides like so. If it's a little bit out, you can still got time to move it around and go, yeah, now it's nice. My piece of paper has got a horrible mark along that edge. So let's give that a bit of a thingy down. There we go. Alright, so that's our main card. So I'm going to do this in sections so we know exactly where we're going. So we're going to put our front layer on our card. So we have our next layer, which is layer layer 1, and we're going to pop that onto the front of the card. I could have stuck these 2 pieces together, so, but never mind. And I'm going to open this flat. I always find it nicer to open flat. And pop my layer on. And now I will pop my other layer on. Isn't that beautiful on that side too? Except that I wanted the smaller flowers and the blue to all pop through. So okay, so making sure that you have your designer series paper in the landscape for the first layer. That way you can see that that pattern is all up the correct way. I'm not worried that that's a little bit, I've got a little bit larger gap down that end, because a lot of that will be covered. So let's pop our card out of the way for a moment and bring back in our scoring tool. Let's move that right out of the way so I don't that. And with our second layer, which is our 4.5 by 4.25, we're going to put it on the 4.5 inch side, which is the longest side, and we're going to score this using our scoring tool at 1/2 inch, 1.25 inches. So let's do that twice. I like to make sure it's nice. 3.25 inches and 4 inches. Oh my goodness, that went really wonky, didn't it? Okay, so if you're unsure with that, 1/2 inch, 1.25 inches, turn it 180 degrees and score it again at 1/2 inch and 1.25 inches. So we're going to pop this one together as is. I'm going to rub this aside because of that mark, but we won't even see that. But I just wanted to show you that if it was annoying you, just turn it over, give it a good burnish along that score line that jumped. Right, so on the back, and then it will be nice and flat on the front. So let's fold and burnish all of these score lines. My paper's getting a bit dirty. I think I need to update my piece on here. Okay, so we have our piece like this, and once again this is going to go on like this, so we need to make sure that we put our pieces of designer series paper onto our piece of layer paper card the correct way. So we've got that on there, and we know that's going to go onto the card this way, so we're going to pop this on so that we've got the right orientation if you've got paper that needs it. If you've got paper that doesn't have any orientation, that's fine, but because I do need to be careful. So I'm going through that with you so that you understand and can see what I mean as we go. So that's in the correct orientation, which is the same as that one now. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to turn the card so that this folded edge is at the bottom, and we're going to glue along this small edge here, this small one here. I'm going to pop glue all along there, and then we're going to fold it up so it's up like so. So in from the other side, let me turn it around so you can see. Just fold it up. We're going to bring it down, and it will line up along this side, and right along this bottom edge. So once we've got that on there, you can get that a nice burnish down, so it's actually stuck right on the edge of that folded line. With the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the first and the second one down. So we're folding it down at the second line from the opposite end. So folding it down so that you can only see this section here. And we're going to pop glue on that small edge once again. That small 1/2 inch edge. I think it was a 1/2 inch. Yes, it was a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to fold the whole lot over flat, like so. And we're going to press that down nice and tightly. We can lift that up then, so we've got our first part that is actually popping up. So we're going to do that, and we've got it glued on nice and tight. And as you can see, my paper is all following the same direction. So now we're going to work on the last piece. So let's pop that out of the way, and we're going to score this one. So we're going to bring in our scoreboard again, and I'm going to score this one at a 1/2 inch. Don't go out of the lines. And 1.25 inches. And that's, excuse me, that's it. So we're not doing anything on the other end, only the one end. It's a 1/2 inch and 1 1/4 inches. So we're now going to turn these down and burnish these, fold these over and burnish them. And then we are going to make sure that our folded ends, our 2 score ends, are on the right hand side when we put our paper on that has got a direction on it. If we've put it on the other side, we'll have our paper upside down. So we need to make sure when we're assembling this piece, if you've got directional paper, that your folds are on the right hand side. It's a little bit over, but I'm not going to pull it off. I don't want to. And I'm sure whoever gets it will love it. Okay, so then we're going to with the folds on our right hand side, we're going to put our last layer onto the top of this piece here. This piece is now going to fit onto here like so. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to press this down so that our folded card piece is here and the bottom fold of our pop-up layer is over the edge. And we're going to then turn this over and pop it onto the back so that it butts up against it, and finding the score line there, we're just going to put a little mark across here. It doesn't have to be hard, you're not going to see it at all. Just going to pop a mark across there so you know where to put your glue, because we don't want it up too high and then it sticks onto the back of that piece. So I'm popping my glue on here. You're not going to see that piece, but if you want to rub it out, that's entirely up to you. With that pressed still over so that we've got the fold of the card here and then the fold is over the top, we're then going to glue this piece, which is now in the same orientation, into the centre of this one so that it butts up against this edge and is even on both sides, which is about 1/2 inch. So if you're like me and you want to make sure that it's right, you're going to just pop it in there and push it so that it's in the right orientation there. And once you're happy with that, I'm just going to press that down nice and tightly and it will be glued to this piece here. So our first pop-up piece. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put glue onto this far edge now. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult to put on than the other one, so just be patient with yourself while you're doing that. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold the whole lot down underneath, like so. Can you see how I folded that right down, flat? Then I'm going to bring the whole card up, so let me pop that in there, bring the whole card up so that it's flush along that bottom edge again with the joint, the fold in the card. That way this piece will now fold up when it will pop up. So when we pop that up, which I'm going to do like that, I can then press underneath here and we have our frontage that is now like so. What do you think? It's just a lovely idea in itself. So I'm actually going to do my inside of my card first, so that way I can give this a good time to dry before we fiddle around with the rest of the things on the front. So I'm going to stamp my inside and I'm going to be using Misty Moonlight, if I can open it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that squeaked a bit, didn't it? So I'm going to stamp Best Ever into the centre of my card, which is entirely up to you what you use, but that's what I'm using there. So I'm going to close that up again for a minute, and I'm going to bring in my memento and I'm going to stamp a couple of these peaches one there, and making sure I've got plenty of ink on there. One up here, and we're going to colour them in. So I have them here, my blends. I have the Old Olive in the light, and I have pumpkin pie in the light and the dark. So with the dark one, I'm just going to go over where these, let's try the other end, because that end is not real good. I've got to get new ones. Over these dots, I'm going to just do some there, and then on this side of the, there, and over here. Now I'm going to just do a nice line down there so that it looks a bit shinier, and then across my dots or blemishes or whatever you would like to call them on my peaches. Then with my other pen, I'm going to go through and just over the top with the white, the lighter one. So you can see that having the light and the dark pens really can make a difference to giving it that shading, giving that shape, a proper shape to a piece of fruit or anything that is needing to be a bit shaded. Okay, so that's that one, and then I've just got the light because the leaves are so small. I just thought I'm just going to do the one colour. So I've done the light Old Olive for my leaves. Okay, and we can glue those two pieces together, and I stamped it all the correct way, not like what I did when I did my prototype one, which I absolutely love as well. I think these would have to be some of my favourite online sets. Okay, so we're going to pop our card in. So our card will open just like a regular card, and we're going to pop this onto the inside of our card. And popping that onto the inside. How lovely does that look? Oh yes, I'm really happy with that. So then we're going to just finish off our front of our card. So I cut these pieces out in silver so that I could actually pop them onto the, so they actually look like a proper can. My can I left white so that I could pop everything up onto it. So I'm popping this down the bottom, down here. And then my other piece around the middle here. That goes over the top. Now there is a space here that you can actually, you could put a straw in there, so you could cut that piece out there and put a straw in. But I actually don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, now I'm going to get one of these tiny dimensionals and just pop on the back. You will be able to see it, unfortunately, but oh, ouch, that hurt my finger. It just makes that sit up that little bit, and I think it looks better. So you can actually trim that if you wanted to with your pair of snips, so that only that piece shows, like so. Get off of there, so that it just sits up. That's that little bit. Looks a lot better, but it's still not 100% unless you really want to jump up and down. I'm not going to. That's fine for me. So I'm going to stamp this piece in my Misty Moonlight that says Simply Sparkling. And I'm also going to stamp my tag with the extra bubbly. Like so. Let's close that up. And we get some dimensionals. If I've got some here. My goodness. I've got all these empty ones. Here we go. There we go. So I'm actually going to just pop that on there flat. So let me glue that little label through the middle that says Extra Sparkling through the middle of my can, and we're going to pop our can up onto some dimensional. That one, the top came off. Oh dear, never mind. It will work in the end. Okay, pop them all off. Get in the bin, it's not on the floor. And I'm going to pop my can on an angle like so. And I'm going to pop a few of these on here. Oh, I've got two off at the same time that time. Now for me, I'm actually going to leave it a little bit of space there, because I'm going to pop this so that it pops over the edge. Whoops. Get on there. So I'll button this one up against this, and I'm not worried that that's hanging off the edge, because it's not going to hang off the edge when it's in the post and get damaged. Okay, pop these all up onto some dimensionals. And I'm going to pop them one there, one there, and then the other one I'm going to just pop here. So they are all on there lovely. I have these beautiful, they're called adhesive backed shiny sequins, and I'm going to use these this peachy colour ones. It doesn't actually tell me what colour they are here, so I'm going to use them. So I'm going to pop my pin in my glue so that because it's a warm day today, I'm not wanting it all to go dry, and we'll pop some of these sequins on here, which I think actually go really well. Wow, they do. And it does give that simply sparkling look, doesn't it? Let's have a small one. And what do you think? What do you think of today's card? I actually really like it. I like the design. We have done something similar before, but this one, I don't know, it's just that little bit different because it is an actually opening card and not just that piece of the card. And it folds flat at a regular size because we fold at the card fold. So that's my card for today. It's called, I'll say it once more, double pop-up front card. Both of these sets, except for this designer series paper, which has actually retired because it was part of the celebration, but this set here and this set and the paper and everything on this one are the online exclusives. So if you would like them and you would like to know more about the online exclusives and you live in Australia, please give me a call or send me a text or something and I will help you through that. I'd love you to be my customer. If you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my projects, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.